the way that you presented the question is coming out a bit different now, because you say he opting out of it, right? Now, if you
Yeah, he opting
say
out.
that she's making 600,000, right, and the man is only making 50, that completely changes the scenario versus a man just opting out. When you say opting out, that means like, nah, fuck that. I'm cool. I'm not
That's
doing
what
nothing.
I'm
That's
saying.
that's two different things. Which one were you talking about? Were you talking about his wife making a bunch of money already and him just saying, all right, I'll fall back and tighten up over here? Or are you saying that the dude just decided to relinquish his responsibilities and say, fuck it?
Responsibilities, his duty, it's traditional.
That's different.
Yeah,
He does nothing to offset it, right? You saying like he just let me just leech off her and not do nothing, not bring nothing else to the.
yeah. Opt out
Oh
of it.
yeah, that'll be looked at crazy. Yeah, in that scenario.
Like when a man, like, do you like a man that would opt out of his traditional duty? Now obviously on the spectrum that goes like where you could say obviously a man that makes 45,000 can't provide and take care of the whole entire household bills, but he's still expected to go make some money. And if he says, "Hey, I'm quitting my job, I'm not doing this shit no more," do y'all think that specifically, Casey? Do you think that man will be respected?
Absolutely. Because it depends on his reasoning for quitting his job.
He just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Maybe he has other ventures that he wants to pursue.
He want to be a
What did you say?
he want to be a painter.
Let
Yeah,
him
there's money in
paint.
that shit.
I mean, Picasso.
You gonna lose, Sweeney? This is
No,
dead
Hey,
end question,
sweetie,
bro.
just
Hey,
say he wants to be a couch potato. You gotta have to be
no.
specific, bro. Like you gotta be specific.
You could have said he
He
wanted to
wants
be a
to be a couch
gardener.
potato. He
All
wants
right.
to retire as a couch potato.
No,
even if you set it up like that, he
I'm,
can have goals or dreams or whatever, but he's still not gonna be seen as a man. He's still gonna be looked at as the same type of way and took. And if we being honest, that woman is gonna end up disrespecting him because you're a grown man. We have responsibilities, and just like I have to get up and go to work and go do what I need to do, you need to be doing the same thing. I don't care that you don't like your job. I don't like my job either. We're gonna keep doing it, and you can paint on the side. And if one of your pictures make it, then cool. But no, you can't just quit your job. No, he's not gonna be viewed the same. No, he's not going to be seen as a man. I don't think anybody's being honest about this. Like, what are we talking
Yeah,
But
about
I
here,
thought
guys?
you said you don't
Ty,
want to
is
have to
Tabitha
work.
Brown husband a man? Is Tabitha Brown husband a man?
Yes. Do you? Let me tell you why. Let me explain to you why. Because he held her down for over 20 something years while she chased her dream. He was
Mm-hmm.
already working. She retired him. All she's doing now is paying him back for the sacrifice that he made. But if you had a man that came in the door and he's making no sacrifice and he's just feeding off of you, he's not going to be seen as a man. He's another child now. He's
Right.
somebody
So
else I have to take care of.
on that specific example, we agreed, but we gave the caveat somewhere it would work, and we would still say, yeah, like I don't see nothing wrong with it.
that's the problem though. Y'all started trying to throw in cat.
Yeah, y'all throwing extra stuff in.
Right. The whole point I was trying to make, right, is that the duties that men have to society, to relationships,
Mm-hmm.
there is no opting out of that without full blown blowback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by almost 70 to 80% of the population would largely disagree with that man opting out of his responsibility. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, but when you talk about the duties of a woman, like one, it's already hard to even establish what the duties of a woman is to a family. And then once you establish that, and then you tell her, can she walk, can she opt out of it? We see in society women opt out of it all the time. When you say if we establish that a woman's duty is to cook and clean and serve her man, and then somebody says, well, what if he wants what so if he held you to that standard, what if one day you don't feel like cleaning? What if you stop wanting to feel like cleaning up? And if he tried to hold her feet to the fire or leave her for that, or divorce her for that, or reprimand her for that, society would come down harder on him than they would come down on her for opting out of her duty. Whereas if you look at the inverse, society would come down harder on the man for opting out of his duty than they would on the woman that would be reprimanding him for it. Because wouldn't nobody get mad at a woman who comes out to the world and says, my husband decided to just quit his job and now he doesn't want to do anything. He's expecting me to pick up the slack for that. and I'm thinking that I might want to leave him. Most of society wouldn't go to that woman and say something's wrong with you. They would go to him and say something's wrong with him. Now flip that, and then a man comes out and says, "Now I know I work 60 hours a week, but my wife is saying that she doesn't want to cook anymore, and she would like for me to pick up the slack on that." And then he says, "I'm about to leave my wife." A lot of men would probably agree with him, but majority of society would come down on him faster than they would come down on her for opting out of that duty. But largely, go ahead.
What?
Does that not speak to the sense of traditional roles and them still being upheld?
Well, no. So the while men want a traditional woman, sometimes we don't get one. And not only do we not get one, we get criticized if we complain about her not being one. Whereas women hardly ever get criticized for expecting a man to continue his traditional role.
Hold on, who you said we get critical?
I agree.
Society would look bad on us if we said we wanted to leave our stay-at-home wife. She decided she didn't want to cook and clean.
Yes.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
No. Society would be like, yo, you staying at home, you a provider, and your wife ain't cooking and cleaning. Yeah, society ain't gonna look bad at that. They're gonna be like, yeah, you should get you another wife.
No, they won't, bro. I tell them that.
What does everybody think on the panel? What do y'all think? What would y'all say to?
We see it all the time.
If your brother came back and reported y'all and said, hey, look, my wife is a stay-at-home wife. She get everything she want. I pay all the bills and everything. She decides she didn't want to cook and clean. I'm ready to ditch that hoe. What would y'all say?
Go ahead,
Do
Kat.
they got kids? And if not, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, if you ain't got kids, I get it.
I would
Society-
absolutely tell you to leave her because y'all are operating in traditional roles. But that's not everybody. The majority of society would still look at you bad. Me personally, I would not.
Well,
Because
okay,
you're
why would they look
operating
at
in
me bad?
traditional sense.
Why would they look at me bad for wanting to leave a woman who is not useful?
Because that woman has sacrificed her life and her goals and her education and her career and everything else to be with you and take care of your kids and raise your children and to take care of your household.
So you're saying
now you're
society
looked
would
at
say
bad.
she sacrificed her life up until a certain point. Now society's going to justify that now that she's already retired for X amount of years. Now she's doubling retiring from any duties or any responsibilities in the household. You're going to say that her sacrifice warranted that.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm not saying that, but I'm
this
saying
from.
overall, I think that would be the general consensus.
No, I want to believe you, but I've never heard of it anywhere.
You never
heard it in any articles, any takes, nothing.
Shit, all you gotta do is like go on social media. Women opt out of performing their duties all the time, and let a dude go up in these relationship groups complaining about his wife doing that. They're gonna say, "Are you helping?" Then maybe you should. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe you should try to help her out. It's never gonna.
Okay. So now that's different. Helping her, that's different than her just quitting completely, not doing it at all. And being tired is different because she's taking a break for a week or something or a month. That's different, but completely done with it all together. That's a whole nother monster that I've never heard of.
Yeah, a man would come into a group and say that, hey, my wife is saying that she doesn't want to cook and clean around the house anymore. She said that she's tired or what have you. And I work. He'd tell him how many hours he worked, and he would ask for advice. And most of the advice would be, to some extent, ways that he can contribute to alleviate her problem. Now flip that. Hold on, wait. Now flip.
What was her problem?
Whatever it may be, that her saying that she may be tired or something like that, right? Now flip that. And a man says, a woman comes into a group and says, hey, my husband is quitting his job because he's tired. He said that he's too tired and overwhelmed at work. The consensus would be that they wouldn't have no problem with her saying that she's ready to leave for the most part. Obviously, there are going to be people who would say, you know what I mean, who would try to encourage her to understand why. But for the most part, wouldn't nobody have a problem with her opting out of that relationship. Whereas if he,
So how would you alleviate the problem that she's tired? How could a man come into that situation and say, okay, I figured out how to alleviate your problem of being tired of doing house duty?
they're gonna tell him,
How would he do that?
He got to do them for
he gonna do them for
How is he gonna do that when he has to work?
when he get home.
when he get home. Thank you, Todd. Thank you for coming through.
I was
I
hoping
mean,
y'all
that's what
say.
people say though.
I was hoping y'all said hire a nanny or hire a cleaner or something like that.
They would say that too. But the quicker fix is you cook your own meal, clean your own dishes, wash your own clothes.
Okay, so now for me,
Darren, I'm with you. I agree with you. I was telling you.
I agree too.
I think us on this panel, I think Bruiser, Marcus, because we in this space, you would say that, right?
So what?
I'm talking about society. When you look at when people come out and make these type of complaints in real time, the overall consensus, if a man complains about his wife not performing her traditional duties, the conversation will be around what he can do to fix it. Whereas if a woman came in and complained about about her husband not fulfilling his traditional roles, the general consensus will be it's okay for you to leave him. He's the problem.
So Sweeney, I say this. I think I seriously doubt it would be the overwhelming majority. I would agree that men would absolutely get more pushback than a woman would. We know that, but I don't think it's to the point where, I mean, like I said, in these spaces, we hear a lot of gripes and things like that. But in real life, I don't think that it's that deep where people are like, okay, yeah, well, if she's deemed useless, why would anyone in their right mind support that?
Who would deem her useless? That's the point.